I want to explain to you guys what Black Mirror is in the event you're not familiar with this. So I'm just going to share this really quick, and I'm going to let you in just a second, Eric. Black Mirror. So if you are not familiar with this show, you need to familiarize yourself with this show. It is kind of like a modern day version of the Twilight Zone. It is in the future, and a lot of these episodes revolve around technology, the pros and the cons. Most of the time, it's the cons. I'm just going to be honest with you. But one of the questions that's come up a couple of times is, are we already living in a Black Mirror episode? So Eric actually has picked out a few episodes that we're going to talk about tonight that should alarm you. So I'm going to go ahead and let Eric on. Boopity boop.
Doing the boopity boop. All right. So, yeah, Black Mirror, I think it started around 2011. Actually, we'll share this screen over here. There we go. Black Mirror was, whoops, gotta get on the right thing. There we go. Black Mirror was created by this guy's the main guy, Charlie Brooker, who's actually a British, he was known as like a British comedian and kind of comedy writer and whatnot. And I don't know, he just came up with this, and it's just kind of amazing what he managed. What he said about it as far as the title, he said, the Black Mirror of the title is the one you'll find on every wall, every desk, in the palm of every hand. The cold, shiny screen of a TV, a monitor, or a smartphone. So that's kind of what the Black Mirror is. All right. Gotta get this screen share working right. So let's see. All right. Our first episode is Men Against Fire. I don't know. Do you want to start out the conversation about this one, Sabs?
This is the one about the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this episode, I think, it takes a while, I think, to get into. It takes a while for you to figure out exactly what's going on, right? So a long story short, Men Against Fire, there are implants that are made. There are these soldiers who think that what they see, that they're fighting against, is not human. They think that they're like, I don't want to say like aliens, but they just think that they're not human, and they're told that they're supposed to basically execute them. They're supposed to get rid of them.
And it's like this kind of augmented reality that changes what they see. So they see them as these creatures they call roaches. Here, I can actually show one. There we go.
Yep.
But it's not actually how they look. They're actually human beings.
Right.
But it's but the technology makes them look like this. And then the protagonist has someone who's kind of like doing like guerrilla actions, hit him with this light that disables the implant. And then the soldier starts seeing them as what they are, as human beings. And that really gets in the way of him doing his work. And there's this whole concept. So as far as like, so we want to try to connect this to our current world. And, you know, I think of the propaganda that's out there about the other, about people turning against each other.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. It's like, basically, like, a long story short, I feel like they were kind of brainwashed, maybe not brainwashed, but they had taken in so much propaganda to see these people as something evil and something that needed to be killed. And that's not what they were, but they believed in the propaganda. And I'm thinking about that right now with some of the talking points that are coming out about Russia and Ukraine, and how some people who are saying, even some people who say they're leftists, are saying that, oh yeah, we should just go get rid of, we should just go get, knock out Russia. We should put sanctions on them. We should do all these things. And it's like, now I feel like there's so many people that have been made to believe that Russia, like Russians, are these evil like people that need to be taken out.
And and I threw in this still because this is kind of part of the plot too. Is how of course he gets pushback and argues with his fellow soldiers, and they're almost ready to take him out because of course they're still seeing the people as non-humans.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put him in therapy. And of course, the therapy is to make him get back into his job, and
Right.
because even after he gets his implant fixed, he's a bit bothered,
Right.
unsurprisingly, by what he now knows. I mean, Caitlin Johnstone talks about propaganda a lot, and one of the things she says is that propaganda only works if you don't know you're being propagandized. If you
Right.
realize that there's propaganda acting upon you, that gets in the way of it. And so a big part of it is just stopping that realization.
Right. No, I agree. Um,
And oh, one thing we probably should have said earlier, spoiler alert, this show's going to have a lot of spoilers about Black Mirror.
yeah, well, we
So,
probably don't. We probably don't want to tell the whole story,
mm-hmm.
but just give like, like pieces about it. Like,
We'll see how it
we-
goes.
yeah, because this also shows like this episode in particular talks about it. Kind of shows like that group think mentality.
Mm, yeah, definitely. All right, any more on this one?
No, I think we can go to the next one.
All right. Here. Nosedive.
Oh, I can I lead with this one?
You got it.
Okay, this is probably one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes. And the reason being is because this is something I could see happening right now because the way that we're so involved with social media. So, to make a long story short, in the future, in this episode, Nosedive, everything that you obtain in life is based on how many likes you have. That's how you get everything. So let's pretend that your likes on Facebook or your likes on Twitter actually determine whether or not the type of apartment that you can purchase, the type of car that you can buy, the type of house that you can get, the type of job that you can get. That's what is happening in this episode. And so you'll see like their like rating, like for example, Jack has a 3.7, which is actually pretty good. Once you get to below a certain number, you're treated like a poor person. You're basically given scraps. People don't want to be your friend. People don't want to be around you. And people will actually look you up on their phone to see what your rating is. And that will determine whether or not they'll be associated with you. Does that not sound familiar today?
And everybody checking their phone all the time. And let's see. And then here, she's trying to get on. It's either a plane or it's a bus. I think even at this point, but her score is too low,
Mm-hmm.
and she can't get on the transport. And I think she starts doing all kinds of crazy things to try to get her score up. There's a scene during it where there's one poor guy who's a coworker of hers who just is socially awkward and nobody really likes him. There's even scenes of like so in the show they're always doing this thing where they click the phone at each other, giving them the like, and there's a scene in it or there's scenes where people like are doing that with him, but they show like they're not actually doing it. They're just faking it because
Yeah.
even to be seen as his friend where he's not popular will lower their score. And then
Yes.
like the last time you see him, he's gone out to lunch and he can't get back into the building where they work because his score is too low to get back into the building. And he's begging people to give him a like so he can get back into his work building.
Yeah, and this kind of reminds me of the class issue that we talk about a lot too, because it's true. It's like in this episode, if you're seen with people that have a low rating and you have a high rating, that's actually not considered good.
It'll
So
take you down.
yeah, it's like, so basically the people who are up here are really not congregating with the people who are down here. So again, it comes across as like a class issue. And because people really want to get a high rating so that they can get the things that they really desire in life, they end up being fake. It's very fake. It's very, very fake. You have to be overly nice just so someone will give you a like, so your score will continue to rise. And if you upset someone or hurt someone or whatever, or even like use profanity, they can give you a ding and your score will go down.
And to kind of connect it into the current reality, we have all this talk of mandates leading into passports, and Max Blumenthal talks about this a lot in kind of framing it as the idea of a nascent social credit system, and it's something that I think the left needs to be more cognizant of and really push back more directly, because this type of social credit system is just the death of just being able to express yourself and just free movement, free thinking, free speech.
Yep.
One of the other things in the episodes, this is one of the very popular people who's one of the maybe like a B-lister in the show. And so the main character in the show, she's just constantly, like, she went to school with her or something, so she has a connection, and she's just always desperately trying to work that connection, because any association with the big famous person will get her score up. And of course, we see today how big of a thing fame is and notoriety.
Yep. Yep. It's very fake. It's very fake, basically. But it's just scary how much people rely on these likes and notoriety from people. But that happens today.
And then the ending. I mean, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to talk about the ending, because it's kind of a weird. I don't mean like, I mean like the very ending. It's kind of a weird very end. The very end of it ends with like the main character like in a jail cell, and there's another guy in a different jail cell, and they just like they start yelling profanities because
Mm-hmm.
like they've just totally like had enough and they've snapped, and that's like how the episode ends, with the two of them screaming profanities kind of at each other and at the air and into the air. And I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean, but I guess maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
All
So the
right.
next the next one is Metalhead.
Yeah.
This one is scary. I'm just like, this one. This was one like I could only watch it one time, and I was like, if this were to happen, right.
The stuff of nightmares. So in this story, it's kind of a future, at least in the area that the person's in. This is our main character. It's very desolate. She's almost getting close to be almost like a sole survivor, and they're being the humans in the area are being hunted down by these robot dogs. And yeah, when you see these robot dogs in action, they're they're scary. There's the stuff like there's like when you first see it, like it just kills a human like nothing. It's
Oh,
like, and yeah, it can get to you. It'll I wouldn't want these in my dreams or my reality.
they're way more powerful than a human. Like, even though they're smaller than you, they're way more powerful, and they pretty much like. I think in the beginning they were originally put there to fight, bad guys, but they just end up thinking basically anyone that's a human being is bad.
I mean, it's unclear. I don't think they ever really spell out exactly what happened or
No,
why.
I think
Or
I
you
think I watched the explanation video for this one, that the technology like turned on us.
Yeah, that's probably what they have in mind. I mean, the other thing I've thought of is that it could be almost like a concept of like nuking a place, of just deploying, like let's say you declare an enemy zone to be a place that you're going to wipe out, and you just deploy these robot dogs and just kill every human they can find as a form of warfare. It do you remember the neutron bomb? You might be a little younger than me for that, but the neutron bomb was a form of a nuclear weapon that they would explode up in the air, and it would put out this radiation burst that would kill all the human beings in the area, but would leave the property untouched. And they actually made some of these. I mean, this is back, I don't know, probably Reagan type of time, and then there were protests against them. But it was just this idea of having this weapon that just wipes out all the humans, but leaves all the property because we might need that. That would be useful to leave behind. So it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of that as well.
I was gonna say, Marco said this episode scared the crap out of me. Well, Boston Dynamics will be safe. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention too.
So I got some videos.
Yeah, I was gonna say at MIT they already have like a robot cheetah. They already have a robot, so that's why I say like,
You
are
go
we
fast.
already? Yeah, are we already living in a Black Mirror episode?
Well, funny you should ask. So let's switch over. Wait, what do I got next on? Okay, that's that one. Let's look at. That's not the right one.
It's Roger again.
More Roger. All right. Oh, there is more Roger. All right, we'll try. We'll get to that later, Roger. All right. This was just in the news in the last few days. And this is, this is, I mean, they're not even hiding it. I mean, this is off the official federal website. You know, robot dogs at the border. And there's our nice friendly prototype. But here's the picture that really got people's attention was this, and it's just this nice helper robot dog for the border. So yeah, it's here. Um, of course, at this point, they're saying, well, it's just to help. It's just for assistance, and it's nothing big to worry about. Let's see, I got an. Oh, so then yeah, so the company that makes this one is called Ghost Robotics. So I have one of their very nice promo films that I thought you might
Oh
like.
boy.
And I'll play a little bit of the music too that they even give this. This is real. This is today. And so yeah, it can go through puddles. And they're bragging about this because this is like their money maker. See what else we got here. Ghost dog. It'll follow you in the country. It'll follow you in the city.
Oh my God. This really does look like that episode. That's what I'm saying. Like, remember how they were running up the stairs and
Oh, that video's choppy.
I wanted to sleep with the light on that night for real. That's
These,
just, yeah.
I don't. Let's see if I can get this. Oh man, this came out choppy. Oh well, I'll have to try better next time. But anyways, you get the idea.
Oh,
And to and we have this came through a while back. I remember this story. So this was also our Ghost Robotics was demoing their new what do you call it? Their new accessory for the robot dog. So that is a sniper rifle on top of the dog. So basically,
I'm telling you guys,
yep,
man.
they're not really hiding it. because that's where the money is. So then there's the other question that gets into this with the robotic stuff is there's the way we're doing it now is the robots are generally under human control. Like the Predator drones are are the Predator drones are under they have pilots, and they get they press the button and whatnot. But of course, the next step of this is when does it get to letting them loose, letting them go on their own on algorithms. And I mean, there was a report from this was from May of in Libya that the Turkish armed forces had this kind of drone and supposedly put it on an autonomous mission to attack enemy soldiers. And it's not totally clear whether it actually really happened or was successful, but it was basically like push a button and go and hunt.
Oh,
The way that this one would have done it with the props and everything is they would put an explosive on a payload on it and actually like drive it into the target, and then when it hits the target, it would blow up. That's how you would do it with this kind of drone. The Predator drones are larger. They're more like airplanes, and they put missiles on them and whatnot. It's basically just remote control fighter bomber jet is what those are. But there was that thing a while back with Maduro. This is a couple of years ago now, but they actually tried to assassinate Maduro with some drones that were kind of like this. If you look it up, there's like video of it and whatnot, and there were explosives on those drones. Because they blew up when they hit. Like his guards ended up like shooting at them and bringing them down, and there were explosions. And you got to wonder where the money for
wow.
that came from. I'll just say that.
It's crazy, man. This is crazy.
All right. Should we do another one?
You got to do Junipero.
San Junipero. Yes. So, do you want to
That was kind
outline
of
this one?
eerie. Yeah, this one's kind of, what's wrong about this one is that this one starts out as such a upbeat, fun, and I'm like, this in this episode, everything's gonna turn out great. And then you realize what's going on, and you're like, no, you thought this was gonna be the one Black Mirror episode that was gonna be, you know, okay with the technology thing, but it's crazy when you realize what's really going on.
And what's really going on is we have to tell it. We have to talk about it.
We do. Um, so they're not really so this episode takes place in the 80s, or what we think is the 80s. And these two girls, they meet. I think one of them is from out of town or is visiting or something like that. And then what you eventually find out is that not only is it actually not the 80s, but that one of them is actually dead, died. And there is this new technology where they can, I guess, preserve your body and let you go anywhere you want to go in time. I guess back to the happiest moments or whatever. And
In a
that's where
virtual
she,
reality.
in a virtual reality. But you don't realize that till the end. So that's the thing. Like, it's like when you realize that this isn't really happening, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, and so the actress on the right was the one she's in *Halt and Catch Fire*. With a very different character here, and she plays kind of an ill at ease, kind of dorky character. Um, I think she's kind of, I think she kind of realizes in this virtual reality that she likes girls. I think is part of it more than the boys. And but you also find out that she's actually, as a person, she's actually an elderly person.
Yep.
who's in a nursing home, and part of what's happening in the nursing home is they have this new technology where they hook things up into their brain, and they go full on into the VR. I guess now we'll call it the metaverse, as far as
Yep.
like what we're getting into now. Now, I didn't necessarily have the same reaction you did as far as being necessarily turned off by it, because in the end, so there's the whole plot tension of whether or not the the new girl is going to join her paramour here in this metaverse permanently.
Right.
And she's like, well, I don't know. And then in the end, she does. And although it's kind of a no brainer, because I think in the real world, she's old and dying anyways. So it seems like a pretty
Yeah.
good deal to me. And the last scenes of it are the two of them like meeting up and frolicking on the beach. And I thought it was kind of like a happily ever after ending.
Yeah, it was. It's just I think when I found out that she was really dead, I was like, wait, what? I was like, but I looked this up. This episode, San Junipero, I looked this up. They said for Black Mirror, this is either the most disliked or most liked episode for people. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a lot of good 80s music, you guys. So if you love 80s music, this is your episode. I'm just telling you. Like,
They
but
do
yeah,
some
I
good
thought that was
partying.
yeah, because it's like they get to decide like whether or not, okay, well, they have that technology in the future where it's like, okay, you're dying, you can, just die, or you can live in another space in virtual reality. So
I think it beats dying. I
yeah,
guess it
that's
depends
true.
on how you feel about dying, right?
That is true. It's just, yeah. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched Black Mirror, it's on Netflix. So if you haven't watched it, you need to. There are what, 5 seasons now?
Yeah, they're talking about making new ones, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. There are contractual issues and all this, which is kind of sad. But
I'm
I think
crushed.
it kind of said what it wants to say through its 5 seasons. There's a lot in there.
There is a lot, but I'm crushed if they don't
Well,
make
you
another
never
one.
know.
Yeah,
But one can
yeah,
dream. Maybe they'll have new episodes for us in the metaverse.
that's true. That's true.
And then the final scene, I always remember the final scene. I mean, it's kind of cutesy, but it's very Black Mirror cutesy. There's them running and meeting up and frolicking. The music is Heaven on Earth, Belinda Carlisle,
Yep,
and it's and but then they also cut to shots of the server room, of the computer room. That's actually where they are existing in,
yep.
and they do some cutting back and forth. So then that kind of makes you a little bit like, well, what if somebody pulls the plug? What if a hacker gets in? It would be kind of a bad day
Right,
if you're in
right.
there. And there's also there's also a company name that's in there that gets referenced a few times in the show. Let's
Do you
see.
want to tell them about the song, Eric? The song that's actually played throughout Black Mirror episodes.
Not
It's
sure
not
I
in
know
every
that.
the one that goes, oh my gosh, let me look it up. Go ahead, do what you're doing. I'm gonna find it because that song will get stuck in your head.
We'll see. Maybe the chat can help us too. Well, let's see what
Anyone
I.
who knows what love is by Irma Thomas. Anyone who knows what love is. You can blame me or try to shame me, but let me find the words to this. I'm just saying stuff. Anyone? It's in multiple different episodes. And every time that song comes on, I'm like, oh my God, that song is stuck in my head. But it's by I'll put it in the chat so people can look it up if they want to listen to it. Anyone who knows what love is.
And I mean, they definitely like to have Easter eggs in the show, so you can definitely look stuff up and see different little things.
Yeah, I recommend you guys like after you watch a Black Mirror episode, to go on YouTube and look for the explanation video or look for the Easter egg videos.
Do you
Oh
remember
my
this one?
God.
So this is from the episode Black Mirror White Christmas.
Oh, this one is so wrong.
And there are actually like 2 or 3 parts to this one.
Yeah.
Because it starts off, I don't know, do you want to set it up or do you want me to?
Let me try to remember.
So it
This is
starts off like they're in the
John.
cabin out in the
What
wilderness.
isn't this the guy from
Mad Men.
Mad Men? John.
Ooh, Mad Men's another good series. I definitely
His
recommend.
his name is
Oh,
John.
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Yep.
Okay. John Hamm. Um, he was at the Tip Tap room here in Boston.
Mm-hmm. What was
I
he
don't know if I
doing?
ever told you that. Eating food.
Oh, okay.
He was
I
yeah, he
don't know
was just
how he
there.
could ever go out in peace. I would think he would get mobbed.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Like, so he so I'm trying to remember. You have to set it up,
Yeah,
Eric. I
so
forget.
there's like it's just these 2 guys out in a cabin, and then eventually like they're telling each other their stories, and eventually they start opening up to each other, and then it turns out he's actually like a VR agent, and there's a guy who they think committed a crime, and they were trying to get a confession out of him, and this is the new way to do interrogations, is to basically put them into this virtual reality. But then they
That's
get
right.
into it another part where he's basically trying to create. It's basically like a company, as I recall, it's a company that like creates the perfect personal assistant, and so the way they do it is they put a probe on someone's head, for like a few weeks, and it sucks in their whole personality, and then they take the data from that probe and they make an avatar. But the avatar is like so perfect that it thinks it's the actual person.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when they boot up the avatar, then the avatar is just like, what am I doing here? Just put me back in my life. and they're and so in order to train and discipline the avatar, he as the trainer basically just puts them in an empty room and just leaves them there. And then because it's actually a virtual simulation, they run the person's clock and time, so it feels like to the avatar they're in there for years. And so John Hamm just goes, well, let's see how you feel after a couple of years, and then he kind of then goes back to it, and the person's been sitting there, and they're desperate to do anything, and basically turns them into an avatar that's very obedient.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gets into this question of like what is existence, what is consciousness, what is time. If your whole personality were cloned and put onto an android, I mean, so would that android also be you?
Right.
What if it thinks it's you?
Right. Right. It just it you guys see, like I said, like a lot of these episodes have to deal with like technology, but it's like technology gone wrong. Um, oh, there's another one too. I don't remember the name of it, but there was another one where remember the one where the guy wanted to know if his wife was cheating on him. So there was this type of technology in the future you could do where you could oh, it was like in his eye.
Mm.
You could
Oh yeah,
rewind back
yeah. Everything's
everything.
recorded.
Everything's
Yeah,
recorded.
everything's recorded, and so both of the and then they can play back, and there's a thing where they just kind of stare and they're actually looking at the playback. It actually kind of messes them up too, because I think then they break up, and then he keeps playing back the good times. It
Hmm.
makes it a little hard to get over.
Robin. This is one of the scariest ones ever.
And both of them, to kind of connect them back to the current day. There's of course with the recording everything. We record everything with our phones now, and
Yep.
and everything you can record as much as you want and play it back as much as you want. That's only going to get more so. I mean, where the technology is going is it is going to get more and more easy to do that kind of recording. It's going to be things like just a pin that you can just wear that just records everything in your experience, and then you can play it back. And so, the Black Mirror is exploring, well, what does that mean? How is that good? How is that bad? And it can go either way. With this one, with the White Christmas one, it kind of makes me think of. I read somewhere something about companies trying to make like better Siris, like Siri, the personal assistant, trying to make a personalized version. And so what they could do is they could look at all your data and your social media data and try to create the best digital assistant based on that.
Right.
In fact, there's an episode too where a woman, her husband or boyfriend dies, and then this company creates a simulated version of him from all their social media data.
Oh yeah.
It's called Be Right Back.
That was weird. That one was kind of, I think that was probably our least favorite one. I was like, this is just strange and weird. But
because it's him, but it's not him.
what's that, Lawrence? I'm enjoying this. It's like when two Twilight Zone fans get together and discuss their favorite episodes. Oh man, I still have to do that Twilight Zone one. That song, you guys, I was telling you about, it's in these. I'm going to share my screen really quick so I can show them. It's in five Black Mirror episodes.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll.
So it's in these ones. 15 Million Merits, White Christmas, which is the one we were just talking about. Men Against Fire, that was the first one we talked about. Crocodile, and Rachel, Jack, and Ashley too. It's in 5 Black Mirror episodes.
They have one. I don't know if it's that Rachel Jack one, but there's one that's like a dating one. That's kind of like dating apps put to the max.
That one was crazy. Listen, I'm married, but if you guys are like doing online dating, you really need to watch that one. You really need to watch them. That one was hilarious.
And they claim to have the technology so refined that they would just give you your perfect match, right? Yeah.
Yep. But the perfect match, the match that the technology said that you were perfect for wasn't necessarily the person that was the thing about that episode. That doesn't mean that you actually had feelings for that person, that there was any type of chemistry. It's just who the app said that you were perfect for because of the things, I guess, that you had like in common. But that was the thing. Like you were supposed to go be with that person, the person that it said you were supposed to be with. So it's like Tinder gone wild though.
And then of course in the episode he meets the one that he really likes, but the app says like she's only second best.
Yep.
And he ends up pining for her.
Hi, Indy.
Oh yeah, the robot dogs.
There's robot dogs in Hawaii checking for temps in homeless. Shout out to Indy Left News, you guys.
Indy, you see a lot of stuff through Indy's newsletters. In fact, this story, the one that I highlighted with the dog at the border, the robot dog at the border, I saw through Indy Left's newsletter. Shout out to Indy. All right, let me throw up one more.
Max Fiend said, I never noticed my husband makes the same noise every time he drinks until I saw that dating episode. Now it drives me crazy.
You can't unlearn some things.
Oh, man.
Black Mirror. All right, let's see.
In season 5, the last one, I think only has 3 episodes.
Yeah, and then they also had that Bandersnatch one with the pick your ending.
How did we forget about that one? Guys, if you like interactive episodes, there is an episode called Bandersnatch, but it's like its own separate Black Mirror thing. And it's kind of like choose your own adventure. So like you can decide what the character does next.
and they managed to like integrate it with the cable box. Because
Yep.
I remember when we ran it, and they basically have these branch points where you can pick, one way or the other way, and it was cool. I mean, I watched it. I watched it with my son, and I think we spent a few hours with it of just kind of going back and picking a different branch and whatnot. I was kind of surprised that no one's really seemed to have tried it again.
My friend RT said he did it 6 times.
But I mean, to create one,
Oh, to
but
create another
this
one?
it seemed like it seems still to be a one-off.
I mean, that was a lot of fun. Like you get
Yeah,
to decide what the character does.
I guess it was expensive and it took a long time to make, but I don't know. Maybe they just thought it cost too much. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I'd do it again.
Guys, that one called Bandersnatch. I'll put it in the
Bandersnatch. And it connects into video games. Like the
Yep.
main character is a video game developer.
Yeah. So if you like video games, you probably get really into this one.
And then is it and I'll hit this other one that got a lot of attention.
Oh my
USS
god, I forgot about that.
Callister.
Yes, I forgot about this one too. The Star Trek one. That's the guy. You see the guy sitting in the middle with the pretend Kirk. Okay, that guy. That's the same guy from Breaking Bad. I think like the last 2 seasons. Um, Somebody said he looks like a fake Matt Damon. He kind of does, like in a
It was
way. I don't
perfect.
know his name, but that one is crazy, man.
So in this one, he's a I think it's a video game developer. Yeah, and they're working on these really interactive video games, and it's kind of and so it's kind of like he's taking his own VR drug, and he's putting himself in his own version of Star Trek. And there's and everybody in it are his coworkers. So he's basically co-opted their personalities to put them in the virtual reality.
Yeah, like these really are his coworkers, like in real life. But when they're on like this fake Star Trek or their version of Star Trek, like they're in the virtual reality.
Now, now this may get me into some trouble, but this is one of those that actually I had some problems with in terms of how things were done. I thought there were like some potholes in it, in that the way that like the coworkers' personalities were brought in. I thought wasn't very realistic. It was cool. I mean, I thought the concept was cool, but I mean, but it would take a lot more technology. I think they even like would do like a almost like a DNA sample to get them in the game, Matt Damon. So, but my son backed me up. He felt the same way about it,
Really,
but I know a lot of people liked it.
I think this is like my husband's favorite one. Like this is the one I could watch over and over and over. It just I want to go back and watch these now again.
I know. And this also, I think, is one of the few we could classify that had a happy ending.
Yeah.
There are very few. I mean, generally, the model of Black Mirror is when it's all said and done, you're effed. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely dystopian. But this is one of the few, as I recall in this one. Oh yeah, they get rid of him because he's the nasty bad guy, and they get to go off and have their own adventures.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty cool. Oh, the Miley Cyrus one had a happy ending too.
I
Some
kind
people
of
don't like that one though.
How did
So
it end? Do you remember?
she got her freedom in the end.
Okay. Yeah, because she was like the star, and they were drugging her up and everything and keeping her.
Mhm.
In fact, I guess that's very much now we could connect. We should have put that one in. You got a real connection there to Brittany, right?
Yep. That's kind of what that one remind me of. That's the Miley Cyrus Black Mirror.
And we end with the Black Mirror.
Yeah, this little doll, this little robot doll is creepy. Can I share my
Oh
screen?
yeah.
How do I get out of here? Okay. Let me
Oh yeah.
save
There's
image
so many of them. I
as.
can't remember them all. We
There
remember
are a
our
lot.
favorites, especially.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. I do have to tell people, if you've never seen Black Mirror, please do not start with the very first episode on season one, because I've had friends start with that one and it really like turned them off. It has to do with a pig, and I don't want you guys to have to see that. Let me share my I'll share the screen. This is the Miley Cyrus
People
one.
can't take a little bit of intercourse with a pig.
No. Like I was like, why is this happening? But that wasn't the first one I saw. I didn't watch them necessarily in order. But this is the Miley Cyrus one, and that's her little doll.
Oh
Like it's like a
yeah.
robot doll, but it's really, I guess,
Oh
kind of
yeah.
supposed to be her. It's really weird. Oh my God! Someone else just brought up White Bear. That one is scary too. That one is crazy when you realize that it was all a game.
It
Like,
was all a
oh,
punishment, right?
yep,
With the first episode. So what happens in the very first episode is it takes place in England, and the royal princess is kidnapped, and the kidnapper says that he'll kill her unless the prime minister goes on television and has sex with a pig.
yep,
And literally that's what ends up happening. And then it kind of turns out to be like it was almost like a version of performance art, in that then the person got what he wanted. He released the princess, and I think he kills himself, and like they find his body, and it's all just like a performance art to the extreme.
yep,
But the other thing I found interesting about it is they were, so a big part of it is they're making fun. Everyone is laughing at the prime minister. Oh, is he really going to do this? Oh, he's going to have to do this, and then he actually gets on and starts doing it, and then everybody's like, whoa, this is freaky and gross. He's really doing it, and then
yeah,
and then you would think then his career's over, because he's embarrassed, and everybody's seen that. But it turns out then that the people admire him because he did the heroic act that freed the princess, and it helps his political career. I always thought that angle was kind of interesting.
yeah. This is the I'll share the screenshot for White Bear, because I saw a couple people mention this one in the chat. This is the one for White Bear, you guys. That one was crazy, man. That one was crazy. Like you feel sorry for her going throughout the majority of the episode until you get to the end and you realize who she really is. That's what really like blew my mind. It's like when you realize what she really did, then you don't feel sorry for
Do
her.
you do you remember Black Museum?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too. That one is really good. I can share that one too.
Somebody mentioned that one in the chat. And
There's so many good ones. It's like if someone said what's your favorite episode, it's really hard to pick. I'm just being honest. Um
and it's pretty wild. I mean, people can have these really different reactions to different episodes.
mhm. I'll share I'll share a picture from this one too. This is another one where it's like I feel like you think you know what's going on, but you don't, and then it's just
I'm just
when you
laughing at the
realize
comment. Y'all convinced me to avoid the pig episode. That's
I
just
told
Roxanne.
you. A coworker of mine, I told her to watch Black Mirror, and she was like, "Okay, cool." And she started. I told her not to start with that episode, and she was like, "Well, that made me curious." So she started with that episode, and then she was like, I don't want to watch any more of the. I was like, no, I told you not to start with that one because the other ones are not like that. So she didn't get to see these. But this is Black Museum, and this is another one that's really like creepy.
They're on Netflix.
Yep. That's another one that's kind of creepy. Yeah, guys, they're all on Netflix.
Watch out for the robot dogs.
Yeah, watch out for them. And if you haven't seen Black Mirror, definitely like check it out, you guys. Check it out on Netflix and let me know what you think. All right. All right, guys. You know how we do this. Have a good night. Keep up the fight.
Bye bye.